Good evening and welcome to tonight's show from DJNTV, Disc Jockey News TV. Tonight's show is brought to you by Electra Voice, DJ Event Planner, DJ Trivia, Odyssey Innovative Designs and Cases, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, and the DJNTV Insiders.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Welcome to DJNTV and Tuesday Night with Ben Stowe. Now introducing the one and only Ben Stowe.
Yeah, baby! Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to another lovely, lovely Tuesday night here in Minnesota. For those of you who don't know, we actually have almost balmy weather.
Almost.
And then tomorrow.
Yeah, what's it supposed to be for you? I think we're supposed to see like minus 21 or something.
Yeah, exactly. All that cold air's kind of come down. I think the Canadians have got something against us. They keep sending the stuff down. It's like, dude, close the freezer door.
And they're probably mad that their money's only worth 75% of ours. I feel bad for them. I've had several Canadian sales in the last couple of days, and I just feel bad. I don't even want to see the exchange rate.
Yeah, it's not pretty. Not pretty because we had to do something with the show. Speaking of the show, it's coming up here in 2 weeks. Actually, 2 weeks from right now, we will be we'll be in the exhibit hall at this time, Ben, in 2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks from today will be my master class. And I'm pretty excited about that. I think it's going to be, we're going to keep it kind of intimate, and we're going to get right into it with some feedback elimination and some hands-on stuff with mixing board and how to place your speakers. And sorry, I'm just totally going on here, but I think the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of excited because, I don't want to say that, when I present, there's usually a lot of people there, but usually there are. The last couple of years when I did the seminars at Mobile Beat, there was literally standing room only, and I felt bad for people who had to stand for 4 hours while I talked on. So I like that. It sounds like this master class is going to be a little bit more intimate,
right?
And I've kind of actually been rethinking that. Maybe we just sort of make the room a bit more interactive, and get people really involved and not just sit there and listen. So I'm kind of excited about it. So 2 weeks from today, right? I should probably get my plan together. But
yeah, exactly. You might need to figure out, are you going to be serving pizza or tacos or ice cream? We got to figure that out.
Ice cream is a given. Yeah, pizza's Rachel Litch's thing. I would never dream of stepping on that. But anyway, no, I think I don't know. When you have a small group, it gives you a lot of flexibility too, where you can kind of, obviously I have the material prepared and the slides are already done and the PowerPoint is done, but it gives you a chance to just sort of, engage people and say, is this relevant? I mean, is this challenge solving challenges you have, and if they say, no, not really, say, well, okay, what are your challenges? Let's just change tack a little bit here. So I like that. I kind of like the way you've got this set up. So if you're not in the master class, well, you better get in it because we're going to keep it kind of small. So
yeah. And you guys can go out to djntv.com/tickets. From there, it'll take you to the ticket portal. You can see the master classes that are there. You can buy your master classes. The price is the same here, but you have to buy them online. You can't buy them like at the door. You'll have to log in and buy them online. It's just the way they're set up. So you can grab those right now if you want to. I had the question, Ben, for people who are like, okay, so let's say I came down and I just am checking out the exhibit hall, but I wanted to take the master class without the full DJ track. You can do that if you guys really want to. The exhibit hall pass is $50 for that. So some people are coming in, they're buying the $50 pass, and they're taking a couple of master classes, especially in the photo booth side of it. There are people who just come to that and just take master classes because they want, I want to learn more about software here. I want to know more about software here. And I want to and that's what they do. So there's a variety of different things available to do. A full show for information and such and the schedules, djntv.com/show. Tickets, again, djntv.com/tickets. And I'm not sure what the promo code of DJNTV Show 2020 does anymore. It should have changed Friday. I don't know if it has or has not. The only thing I can tell you for sure is it's still $112 round trip to fly Sun Country from Minneapolis to Vegas and back.
I saw that. That's ridiculous.
Isn't that something? I expected.
I can't even fly from Bemidji to Minneapolis for that.
Yeah, and that
is ridiculous. I saw you post that on Facebook, and I was actually going to mention it. I'm glad you did. So
yeah, that just shocked me, especially though we're inside of 2 weeks, and typically when you get inside of that 2 week, that was actually flying Sunday to Thursday of the week, but you can go Monday to Wednesday, whatever you need to do. That's the price.
You don't even want to know what my plane ticket was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there are some of them that just are not as conducive as that. So you guys can go check that out. Let's jump into tonight's deals. Yeah, great deals. And of course, if you're in the market for photo booth things, they're going to have everything photo booth there. And even we've got, I think, about 20 different DJ related vendors who are going to be there. So there's going to be a nice variety of things for the DJs to check out beyond photo booth. So let's jump into tonight's topic here because we'll be hitting some of the questions and such a little bit later that have come up when it comes to the show. And I want to make sure we hit those at the end. So tonight, I want to talk a little bit, Ben, about and part of this came from, I thought about this last week before Bill Herman's video, but but
I was going to say it had to be Bill Herman's video. I just watched that.
Yeah, Bill Herman's video really kind of it's like, wow, this is a great timing for this. If you didn't get a chance to check out Bill Herman's video, he took us on a tour of his garage yesterday, and he was showing us the thing that every DJ pretty much has out there, which is old gear. What do we do with the old gear? And I wanted to kind of look at it from
make it look like a display. I mean, that's one.
That's one way to do it. I think I like the Star Wars stuff much better than old DJ gear.
That's true. And there's another layer back there. But anyway,
so I want to kind of go through, things that we can do, and probably the big thing I wanted to have you hit at different times. There's some gear that needs to be handled in a specific way. So I want to make sure that we hit that in our discussion today. So first off, Ben, I have old gear. What are some of the possibilities for dealing with that?
Well, so three things, I guess we'll say. One is repurpose it. It could be maybe relegated to other events, or it could be, used for training, or it could be sold. That's probably the most environmentally friendly way to deal with it, is to keep it in service somewhere. Mm-hmm. So now you might think that coming from a guy who sells gear, I wouldn't give you that answer, but I think I've got a pretty long track record of just being honest, and that I think is, one thing you can know. Certainly there are times when gear reaches a point of obsolescence, or it no longer works or whatever, and it has to go away. So then you have, really one choice to dispose of it, and that is to recycle it. There are several states, 25, I think, where that is actually a law. Other states, I guess you can dump it in the trash or, whatever, but seriously, don't do that. You probably don't have enough gear to gain any real, financial incentive for recycling it. Mm-hmm. But I read somewhere that Apple recycling circuit boards last year, Apple got like $40 million from recycled gold.
Wow.
So, there are things in there that are valuable that could and should be recycled. The copper, the steel. Of course, it does. Again, if you're recycling, a DJ controller, the cost would be pennies in what you'd gain from it. But at least you're keeping the stuff out of the landfill. And you may not actually get anything from it. You may even have to pay to dispose of it. But we're doing it in a safe way. And maybe I'm getting ahead of you here, but one of the reasons we want to do that is because there are harmful things in here.
Right. Yeah.
Certainly not that many years ago, there was still lead in solder, and there might still be in some places. We quit using lead-based solder like 10, 12 years ago at NLFX in favor of like a silver antimony, but certainly we all know lead is poisonous. There's cadmium, mercury, those kinds of things are in circuit boards and whatnot. And, we don't want that stuff in our landfills. We don't want it leaching into our water supply. So dispose of it properly, by recycling it or taking it to a place that handles electronics. If you can't sell it or continue to use it, or, give it away. Some schools have programs that are teaching DJ skills and that sort of thing. So that's an option, just food for thought. Donate it to your church if it's loudspeakers or, something like that. And, if you don't like church or don't believe in church, I'm sure there's some other social organization that would benefit from your speakers. So, you do you, right? But whatever. So
let's kind of look at speakers, because a lot of us have the unpowered speakers that we grew up on, and we still probably might have some of those in the back shed. I mean, I've heard people say that they do, not that I do.
Well, why not put an amplifier on them? I mean, I was just thinking, and you're going to find this terribly ironic, because I wanted to do something different for our workout room here at the house, our little, gym or whatever I guess you call it. But, and you would think I would have a surplus of speakers, but I was actually thinking, man, I wish I had something I could put in here,
Yep.
So unfortunately, most of my stuff is just way too big. Like, you can't repurpose it, that way. But yeah, man, put some speakers in the garage, put them in the shop, have a block party. I don't know, again, you might find someone else who has a shop. I've got friends who have welding shops or auto body shops that would love to have some 15-inch two-ways or something to put up there and rock out. And they, maybe give you $100 or $200 for them. And that's a pretty good thing. Cause the thing is, we just think about this from a business standpoint. By the time that gear is getting sent out the door, it hopefully has made you a lot of money, and it has served its purpose, and it doesn't owe you anything. And in fact, if we think about this from a tax standpoint, your IRS depreciation is probably 5 years.
Right. Yeah.
So after 5 years, you have depreciated this to zero. You've basically said, I'm no longer deducting anything for this, item because its value has been amortized to zero. So you get some money back out of the deal. That's a pretty big win.
Yeah, for sure. Even if it's only $10, and then I don't have to pay someone to take it. Which is, I do have some, and we'll get to this, I think, at a good time. But I do have some links here for where to find places to recycle if that's the route you want to go. Yeah. Well, let's continue on. Let's go there.
I just wanted to mention that I had them, so you would remind me to come back to that.
Yeah, let's actually go there, because then I want to kind of talk about, if there's anything we need to do for our gear. First, the retrofit side of it, which you kind of started to talk about with speakers, and then if there's anything we need to do to prepare them to safely dispose of them through recycling.
Yeah, and understand that most of this is driven by consumer electronics, because there's a lot more consumer electronics than there are pro electronics.
Right.
If you think about every computer and its lifespan, every laptop. I think I've got a number here that says 1.5 billion cell phones were sold last year. So that's a lot of phones.
Yeah.
And all of those phones are headed for the landfill eventually, or hopefully not. They're going to get recycled, right? But
right.
They're not going to be in service after a few years. How long do you keep a phone? 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, kind of if you can get 3 years out of a cell phone, I think you're doing pretty well nowadays.
Yeah, so DJ gear actually has a better lifespan than consumer electronics in a lot of ways. But anyway, that's what's driving this. Here I've got a United Nations study that says 44.7 million tons of electronic waste was discarded in 2016, only 20% of which was discarded properly. And certainly we see this worse in developing countries, third world countries, that sort of thing, where you see these images of kids playing in garbage, water supplies that are so polluted, and obviously that doesn't help with, public health.
Certainly not.
Even here in the US, we have to be mindful of that if we, like I said earlier, mercury, cadmium, that sort of thing. If we're dumping these things into landfills and whatnot, and there's water runoff, and we get these heavy metals and things like that leaching into our water supply, ultimately we are, literally poisoning our own water supply. So we don't want to do that. So there's a website that's www.eiae, okay, Echo Indigo Alpha Echo.org, eiae.org, where you can find a recycler on there. And the states that I'm aware that it is the law to recycle in would be California, Maine, Maryland, Washington, Connecticut, Minnesota, Oregon, Texas, North Carolina. These are not in order, of course. They're actually in the order of that they placed they passed the laws.
Sure, that they joined.
So they're not in alphabetical order. No surprise to anybody, California was the first because, as we know, everything causes cancer in California. So that's what the sticker said. I was boarding an airplane, and there was a sticker on the jet bridge that says, "Hey, warning, this airplane might cause you cancer." And I thought, well, that's good to know.
Yeah, I'll look at the door as I walk by.
Pretty well, I mean, but
sorry, that's a weird fetish thing of mine. I'm sorry. Anyway, continue.
I wasn't judging. Listen, man, I work with rock stars for a living, so yeah, I just kind of went, well, that's your thing.
Whatever, man.
Okay. Anyway, where was I? North Carolina. So New Jersey, Oklahoma, Virginia, West Virginia, Missouri, Hawaii, Rhode Island, Illinois, and Michigan, Indiana, Wisconsin. Feels like we should make a song out of this.
Yeah, it could be.
Vermont, South Carolina, New York, Pennsylvania, Utah, and Washington, D.C. Those are all places where it is the law to recycle electronics. It is illegal not to. And anyway, there are lots of websites and things out there. The state of Minnesota actually had a pretty good website, which is pca.state.mn.us. And then it's /living-green/electronic-waste-and-recycling. Maybe I can just send that to you in the chat or something. You can type that up. But anyway, PCA, Papa Charlie Alpha.state.mn, Minnesota, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mike November.us. And I'm pretty sure if you just go to your favorite search engine and type in, where can I recycle electronics? You're going to find
pop it up somewhere. Yeah, this Pollution Control Agency, which I'm sure if you just go to their website, they would have it in Minnesota also. So it's in our land, it's the law to do that. Are there things when we're dealing with recycling, and we'll get to retrofitting after, are there things when we're dealing with it that we should do to prepare them for going in, or is it something that we can just basically take these in? And I'm thinking specifically some of the devices that have capacitors in those that could they potentially cause problems as we take them in, or maybe some of our battery lights that have lithium batteries in that?
So batteries is another thing. I'm gonna come back to batteries, okay. But capacitors, no. And I think for the average person watching, you're probably at greater risk, trying to do it yourself than you are to take it to these recycling places who have people that are trained to handle these things.
Okay.
Again, there's toxic materials in there. Capacitors could retain a charge. And I think that's probably why you referenced capacitors.
Precisely. Is
unless discharged, they can. I got knocked off a bench one time by a capacitor. It's a funny story now because I didn't die. I didn't find it funny then.
Yeah,
but
not so much right away.
I was working on a customer's strobe light, and strobe lights have nasty big capacitors in them because to get that arc across a xenon flash tube, we need that. We need a tremendous amount of power. And it goes into this trigger transformer where it kicks it up to like 4,000 volts, and that's what causes it to arc.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like basically a stun gun, going across the xenon lamp. And I had the strobe light taken apart, and I was working on it, and I got called out of the tech. This is back in the good old days, and I missed the good old days to some degree when I did everything. Bench. I was the tech guy. I was, now if I go into the tech room, I get chased out of there.
Yeah, you got a guy, and the guys don't want you around.
No, we've got fantastic techs with tremendous, educations and pedigrees and skills, and they're like,
get your coffee can knowledge.
Rearrange our tools. We won't be able to find anything. Get out of here. So, anyway, I have to go in when they're not looking. Sneak in my own building. Anyway, so this is back in the day, and I was fixing the strobe light for a customer, and they were there in the showroom, and I don't know why. First of all, why they thought they could go into our tech room. And check the progress on it. But, I guess, we're a pretty friendly company. And B, I don't know why they thought they would test it while I was gone. But bottom line, I had taken the strobe light apart, and I had discharged the capacitors. Well, when they plugged it in,
charged it back up.
Charged it right back up. And of course, it didn't do anything yet because I had not fixed it yet. And so unbeknownst to me, this was now recharged, these capacitors. And I grabbed a hold of the circuit board, and I was literally thrown to the floor. It was like getting hit with a stun gun. It was a bad deal. Anyway, so I said a few things. And
hallelujah, praise the Lord.
Yeah, get the heck out of my store. what do you don't want to say bad things to the customer, but I was pretty mad because I knew that I had been hit pretty hard. And so I felt miserable and I wanted to go home, but I also felt like I should probably be around other people in case my heart stopped beating at any point. So
yeah, there probably would be a good thing for that. Yeah.
and Howie's probably thinking rookie, whatever. But, it's interesting because I've been working a lot on the keynote that I'm going to give at the show. And that's taken me through this tremendous trip down memory lane of where I started in this industry in a neighbor's TV repair shop. And I remember, of course, in the good old days, and only a few of our viewers are going to get this, TVs had things called yokes, which were like capacitors on steroids. And yokes could store lethal amounts of power, easily lethal amounts of power. And so that was one of the lessons I was given basically was don't touch that. It'll kill you.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's I actually, Howie, my apologies to you if you're watching. I'm not apologizing if you're watching. I'm apologizing for what I'm about to say.
He is with us tonight, so yes, he's bracing himself.
My apologies to everybody who's watching. Howie, I actually wrote you into the script, and then I had to write you back out so the thing would flow because I knew that I would just get into too much nerdy goodness, and I would spend the whole rest of the time talking about you. So just know, Howie, there was a reference to yokes and you in the speech. So
nerdy goodness, I like how that comes together.
It would have spiraled out of control. You know me, I can't stay on topic. So anyway. So no, I would say no, you don't need to do anything. Just take it in and let the professionals do it. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, I have a friend who has a two-way radio shop and he's literally got guys in the back on rainy days stripping stuff apart. They're sort of pre-recycling. Copper goes here, steel goes here, aluminum goes here. Cause they're going to, and we recycle wire from our install division too. And we'll bring in 1,000 pounds of scrap wire, now you can get something out of it. But if you're just taking in one or two or three or four things, or even Bill Herman's garage, you're not really going to get enough to make it worth, doing that. Mm-hmm. So no, let the pros do it. Batteries. I think I have a note here on batteries that I had made, and I'm just seeing, I did write a few notes down today, but I know for a fact, and that's something else. Maybe we're just going to have to check some of these places. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Here's a note I wrote. There's a group called Call to Recycle. It's the number 2. Call number 2 Recycle. And they have drop-off locations for rechargeable batteries because, again, cell phones have lithium-ion batteries and that sort of thing.
Right.
And even though lithium is a tremendously common element, it's something we want to, use some caution and some care when disposing of these things. And, of course, batteries are a combustion risk. So, we don't want to just be tossing those around haphazardly. The root word of that is hazard, of course. Mm-hmm. So you can go to calltorecycle.org and enter your zip code. Or again, if you consult the interwebs, I'm sure they'll find a spot where you can say, where can I recycle lithium-ion batteries in my state?
Excellent. Let's kind of wrap up as we're kind of going here and talk about a couple of retrofitting ideas. You mentioned reusing. There's some lights and such that there's pieces that can help us resurrect some of our lights. There's pieces that can help us resurrect like those speakers that we loved many years ago, but the big amplifier that we used to power with just may not exist or doesn't work anymore.
Well, and you could certainly get a new amplifier. And I've seen creative things too. I've seen people turn powered speakers into passive speakers by bypassing the amplifier. Your results may vary. Obviously, you're bypassing a crossover network when you do that, and so there's a little bit more to it. But anyway, yeah. I mean, sometimes it just needs a couple of parts. We're going to have an awesome sale this spring at our building where we're going to have returns and unrepairables or things like that, and we're going to have a bunch of stuff that's free. For that same reason. Maybe there's a guy out there or a gal out there who, and there are, they'll take the broken stuff and maybe they'll fix it or they'll do something else to it, whatever, they'll Frankenstein it. And so there's certainly that. You could put something up on, local classified or something saying, hey, I got some DJ gear and make me an offer. It's free, whatever. Right. Like you said, it saves you the trouble of recycling it. And maybe somebody will get some use out of it. So.
with powered speakers, I think you kind of alluded to putting an amplifier on the non-powered speaker, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Do they make amplifiers that a person can mount on the box itself? And
yeah, there are. And excuse me. There are. Obviously the best amplifier to get would be the one that's supposed to go on there.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, it's kind of like putting a new engine in a car. You might be ahead to just buy a new car.
Sure.
But sometimes it makes sense, and if that's all that's wrong, you might get many more years of serviceable life out of it too. So I guess there's not necessarily, like an answer that I want to say is the answer.
Right.
I think once you get to that point, maybe it makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. I know that I have customers who buy passive crossover networks to put into formerly powered speakers, and they're basically, Frankensteining these speakers into passive speakers now. And, they're probably not going out and doing gig work anymore. I hope not, but maybe they're going in the shop,
right.
Or they're going in their showroom or
the garage
whatever,
or wherever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lighting. We've got these light fixtures from the 90s that we absolutely love that had halogen bulbs in it. Is there anything we can do with those to reuse those, or basically are we ready to just take them to the recycling place?
Oh, here's the deal. You remember these lights that, the Mushroom drew 600 watts at 120 volts, or the Lotus drew like 800 watts. Tremendously power hungry, tremendously hot. Much as I hate to say it, because some of them still work just fine. They're probably just need to get recycled.
Right. So there really isn't like an LED bulb option to replace that halogen bulb.
I've never seen one that looks good.
Okay.
There are MR16 replacements and that sort of thing. And seems like you can get an LED replacement for just about everything now. Somebody out there might, and I'll be the first to tell you, I haven't really tried that hard. Mm-hmm. The replacement lamps in some cases cost more than a replacement light. So, it just didn't make a ton of sense, but there were some that I tried just to sort of see, and just nothing really didn't look good at the end. You kind of went, So your mileage may vary. Somebody might have something else they can contribute in the comments that maybe works better, but not something I've spent enough time probably to find the right solution.
Day mentions in the chat room that those halogen lights are great for keeping your dinner warm.
Yes. Well, let's not forget, everybody remembers the Easy Bake Oven. The Easy Bake Oven had maybe nobody else knows what the Easy Bake Oven is, but you, me, and Howie do. Anyway,
yeah, exactly.
That's old timers. It was a light bulb inside there. It was a tungsten filament lamp. You would take the old screw-in tungsten filament 100-watt light bulb or whatever it was, and you could bake with that thing. Yeah. I remember as a kid one time, I should not tell this on national television.
Those are some of the best stories.
You know what? I'm in my 40s. If my parents haven't figured out, what I'm all about by now, I was a nerd then. I'm a nerd now. I knew that popcorn popped because of heat. Mm-hmm. And so I remember taking some tin foil and some popcorn seeds and putting it on top of the light bulb in my bedroom. I had an exposed incandescent lamp in my room. And I remember putting popcorn up there to see if I could pop it. It never did pop, but I think that was just an early awareness of how hot this lamp is.
Oh yeah.
This light bulb maybe gets hot enough to pop. I even tried putting butter in there one time, which of course that melted and ran out of the, oh yeah, boy, my mom was not happy about that because, as the butter melted out of the tin foil, it went on the light bulb and started to sizzle and smoke. And yeah, that was the last time I tried to do that.
Yeah, probably not such a good idea. Yeah,
but yeah, they're pretty good for keeping food warm or keeping your parents on their toes, I suppose.
Funny stuff. Okay, we can pretty much wrap that part up of the show. We're 2 weeks
probably
out.
A good thing it didn't pop though, because if it had, it probably would have shattered the lamp.
It would have probably, I was gonna say you would have made something because you probably would have had the thing pop open. Then you might have had that butter get over, and then you could have started a fire in the room.
Yeah, I don't know what the percussive force of a popcorn kernel bursting is, but it can't be good for the light bulb.
It could have been ugly. That it could.
Oh well. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter. Now we have LED, and
the world's a happier place.
Can't do it.
So let's just for our last couple minutes, and we're going to wrap things up. Next, you'll be doing, of course, the keynote Monday, the 23rd. You'll be on, excuse me, 24th. Monday the 24th at noon.
2 weeks from yesterday.
Yep, 2 weeks from yesterday. And then you'll be doing the masterclass. Now, during those other parts of the event, you're going to be hanging out, milling around and such, and people can come up there and they can get your autograph.
Yeah, as long as they're not bringing purchase orders or something,
I didn't think about that.
Usually if people want my autograph, it's on a check.
Yeah.
I do get the occasional autograph request, which is kind of it's always neat. We had a web order the other day, and we had somebody who's fairly new at the office who came in. They knocked on my office door, and I said, "Come in." And they came in and they said, "I don't know what to do with this." And I'm thinking, okay, well, why are you asking me? Because they have a supervisor they could ask.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a question with the order. But I thought, well, no big deal. What's the question? Obviously, they came to my office for a reason. I might as well see what the question is. And they said, why? And they just kind of looked at it, puzzled again. And they were looking at this printed out copy of the order. And they said, well, this customer wants you to sign this. They want you to autograph this thing before we ship it. And I just don't know what to tell them. I said, well, don't tell them anything. I'll sign it.
So Sharpie, let's go.
Yeah, bring it in. Yeah, bring it in, and I'll sign it. No big deal. Yeah, whatever. Happy to. But it's you kind of think that's funny. I didn't think anybody want my autograph. Yeah. But so yes, you can come ask for my autograph at the show. More importantly, you can just come say hello, and you can ask questions or offer thoughts on the world or bring gifts of ice cream or I don't know, but no, I don't know, John. I'm just gonna be hanging out. I mean, it's funny when you say like autographs and things. It makes me sound like I'm not a normal guy, but I'm a pretty normal guy. And I'll just be hanging out doing normal guy stuff. So come do normal guy stuff with me. Should
be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. So gang, if you want to check out more information about the show, go to DJNTV.com/show. You can download the little kind of booklet we put together for the show that has the full agenda. So you can print that and have the masterclass on one side and the agenda on the other. All the same information is on the website at DJNTV.com/show. If you want to get tickets, there's links and the promo code are all on that same webpage, and you can go do that and check it out. And you can still join us, and it's not, airfare from, we're talking to a couple of people today from other parts of the country, is still very reasonable. So if it works out, we'd love to see you.
I think there's a critical difference between me and rock stars. And of course, I like I said earlier, I work with them, so I get to see these things. When people ask me to sign things, it's like cable testers or decibel meters or DVDs or something like that.
Sound pressure level meter. Yeah, somebody mentions that.
Yeah, I'm not signing body parts, so I don't know if I don't know what I would do, honestly. I'm pretty sure I'd say no. I'll just preempt the question. So, but it's interesting. I was just thinking about the things that I've signed, and one of the things I've never signed is somebody else's anatomy. So
yeah, we'll keep it that way. It's safer that way.
I don't know.
So that sounds great. Gang, we're going to be finishing up here tonight. We'll be back in about 25 minutes. Tonight is the 10 topics with the stopwatch with Brian and Jay, and we'll be hitting that at the top of the hour. Ben, thanks much for your things, and I'm certainly looking forward to seeing you live in about 2 weeks.
I'll go shopping for Sharpies.
We'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.